Hi, everyone. My name's Sophia.
My name is Hank.
And welcome to You Know Me So Well. The past couple weeks have been a whirlwind for our podcast. We had our breakup episode go out. We completely rebranded our podcast. We reached 6 months. Our podcast has been alive and well now for, over 6 months. And yeah, I feel like we just got into all the juicy details of our relationship and what it's been like after the breakup. And now we're here and we're sort of going back into a more normal routine of what our episodes are going to be like going forward. We're definitely switching it up from what it was before. I feel like we're going to be producing a lot of more fun content, talking about our own personal. I feel like a lot of our content before this was a lot of like self-help type content. And now it's just going to be more fun. We're definitely going to do more like self-help, dating advice, mainly dating advice episodes. So get excited about that. But it's not going to be all that. For example, this episode today, it's quite different from what we've done before, but it's an exciting one. And it is inspired by Hank's recent trip that he took. It's been a short while now. This was before like the whole breakup episode went out and all that. Like, before it was a calm before the storm. Okay. That's when this episode that's when the events that inspired this episode occurred. And now we're here. And it basically all starts when I got this horrifying text from Hank, okay? I am sitting at my cubicle. Okay, I'm doing my internship. I'm sitting at my cubicle, little marketing finance girly, like slaying the day away. And I get the most horrifying text from Hank. And the text says something along the lines of, yeah, like last night we were playing a game and whoever like dropped the ball had to take their swim trunks off. So I was naked in front of my friends. And in that moment, I was so horrified. Like, I wish someone had recorded me, like, opening up that text because I was scared for my life. I was like, what is happening on this trip of his? And why did I ever date this man? Like, genuinely, what in the world is wrong with men? Like, I kid you not, I told everyone about this text. Okay, I don't think I told everyone, but I definitely told like at least one person. And I just remember being like, what is wrong with men? She's like, yeah, I have a 15-year-old brother. Like, this doesn't surprise me. And I was like,
yeah, it's way more the weird type of stuff is way more common than you'd expect.
Well, I mean, I know like I've experienced stuff like this before. Like I've watched men talk dirty to each other, like in the after hours of the night. I've watched some stuff, okay? Like, it's not like I'm totally, like, oblivious to what's going on, but just in that moment, I was like, we need to make an episode on boys trips, and we need to dissect what's going on here. And this is for the girlies who are wondering, what in the world, like, why do men go on boys trips, and what goes down on these boys trips? Maybe you have a boyfriend, and you're like, I don't know if I should be sending him off on this boys trip. It seems dangerous. It seems like this no good stuff will happen. Today we're dissecting it, and also if you're a guy, you can listen and have fun with this episode because it's all about you.
It is. This is for the boys.
This is for the boys. So yeah, Hank, would you care to explain what the hell goes on during a boys trip?
Well, let me first explain the events of the night that caused Sophia to get.
Yeah. Can we get some reasoning for why there were naked men in a pool together? Like,
well, there were multiple. It was just me and my other friend. I mean, there were multiple men in the pool, but we were the only ones that got naked.
Like internally, like, okay, go ahead, share.
Me and all my other friends from high school went down to my one friend from high school's like family's vacation house, and I was there for like 5 or 6 days or something like that. And the second night I was there, we were in the pool that he has at his house, and we had like a couple drinks and stuff. We were just hanging out. Everyone in the story is over 21, just to like Make that clear. And there's like this weighted ball that was in the pool. Like, so it's kind of hard to catch. And so we started doing like, we just all were standing in a circle just playing catch with it. And all of a sudden, the dudes whose house it was like, what if the person who drops the ball first has to take their swimsuit off? And then, so we started doing that. And he actually purposefully dropped the ball first and just took his swimsuit off. Yeah, so he was just like naked in the pool, and like every once in a while he'd just like get out and start like running laps around the pool with just like bare naked.
No, the one thought I have just like running through my head is, why do men?
Sure.
And that's all I want to say.
But anyways, so eventually he puts his swimsuit back on. We play the game again. And then I lose. So I had to take my swimsuit off, and I was just sitting there bare naked in front of, everyone else in the pool. And it's just funny, it's just like, this is comedy. I don't really know how to describe it, but it was hilarious. At least I did it. One other person dropped the ball and refused to do it. But that's not the point. Anyways, the main event happens a little bit later. Eventually I put my swim trunks back on. And again, the first person who took their swim trunks off, the person whose house we were at, we're not even really playing the game anymore. He just takes his swimsuit off again. We get the idea of, let's do a chicken fight, which is, for those who don't know, it's when you're in a pool and there's 4 people. There'll be 2 people standing in the pool, and the other 2 will get on one of their like they'll sit on the other one's like neck, I guess, and just like they'll fight each other. And so I'm like, come here. And I get down for him to get on, and he's just bare naked. And so he climbs on top of my shoulders, is just sitting there, and I can just feel his dick and balls on the back of my neck. It was crazy. And everyone was dying. It was so funny. It really was hilarious. It's actually like one of the funniest moments of my entire life.
And again, I ask, why do men? And I just had this really big concern that I have certain relatives listening to this episode. So, hi. Yes, this is the man who I dated. Let's all familiarize ourselves with him. All right. So I should have so many questions, but right now I'm just so baffled that I can't even think. So what's the purpose of a boys' trip? Like, why do men collect to go on said trip?
It's to see your friends, just be all together as a group, especially when it's like people from high school. It's been a few years since we all graduated, and it's, it doesn't happen super often that we all get to see each other. Like I hadn't seen a majority of these people in like 2 years. Okay.
Now, were there any girlies involved?
No, just us.
Yeah, that was the weirdest part.
Yeah, no, it was just straight up dudes, yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think, like, what kind of... if there weren't any, like, girlies involved, I feel like it's just a bunch of... Well, this just sounds like it's a bunch of men running around, like, getting sexual with each other.
No, the only real sexual stuff was, like, that night. Although I guess, like, sometimes, like, we'd just be chilling and, like, someone would start just like humping the other or something.
Oh. Okay. I was going to ask for like a visual description, but I don't want it. And I don't think our listeners want it. Neither me nor the listeners want a visual. Well, actually, I'm sure there's some listeners out there who want a visual description, but I'm going to prevent said visual description from getting out there.
Like I'd come downstairs in the morning and they'd be like, you look sexy right now. I'd be like, thank you. I'd be like, you look sexy too.
Oh no. I'm visibly uncomfortable right now.
I think it's beautiful that men are so comfortable to be able to do that, It's not like the olden days.
So my question is, why do men have this whole like no homo thing, but then literally do this kind of stuff?
No homo's out of style now. It's just straight up. It's just like, it pretty much be as gay as possible with each other. Yeah.
Okay. But here's the thing. Hank wouldn't cuddle his friend when I asked him to.
That's different.
How is that different?
Because I don't know how to describe it. It's because it's like, that's not like sexual. That's like romantic. Romantic is different than...
Okay, but like cuddling can be sexual.
And I think cuddling can go before or after sexual things, but cuddling isn't inherently sexual.
Yeah, I still don't really understand what the issue there was.
It was just like, I don't know how to describe it.
Because, okay, here's the other thing. Actually, wasn't this the trip where we met, where you and you woke up and you were just cuddling with a man?
No, that was years. Oh, no, wait, okay. Okay, well, it was years before. It was when I was junior in high school.
Oh, never mind.
Me and the person whose house we were at, I just woke up after a night of drinking. We were just like cuddling each other on this beanbag. So that wasn't on purpose, though.
Okay. Hank, I need to explain something. So I just visited my friend in Boston, my girlfriend, okay, for reference. We slept in the same bed. At no point in that time was there any inclination that we would cuddle.
Beanbag is different. You sink towards the middle.
So you touch each other, like your bodies touch, but cuddling?
We were sleeping. We didn't do it on purpose. It was just like an automatic reaction.
It kind of, yeah. So the fact that it's an automatic reaction already says so much. Because I didn't have an automatic reaction to go climb over and cuddle my friend.
Well, you didn't end up in the middle with nowhere else to go.
How do we know? How do we know that I didn't end up in the middle with nowhere else to go?
But I've also slept in beds with other men before and didn't cuddle then. It was just with the beanbag situation. But also the first night I was there, my friend, when I was on the boys trip, my friend did throw up, and I was the like primary caretaker of him, and I was being comforted, like as he was leaning over the toilet, I was rubbing his back, rubbing my hand through his hair,
Okay. You didn't even do that when I was sick and throwing up.
I absolutely did.
No, you did not.
I remember sitting next to you and I was rubbing your back and I was holding your hair up so that your hair wouldn't get in the toilet. These are vivid memories.
No.
Oh, I remember. You cannot gaslight me out of this.
Like, when are you talking about?
In like November.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. When was the other time? Oh, I absolutely did then too.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, I know, but I mean, I was talking about the November. Yeah, that was not cute. But anyways, okay, so
took care of you like the next 2 days after that too.
Yeah, and then Hank got sick as a result. Well, no, not even as a result. Your thing was like completely different.
It was like a stomach thing. I just wasn't throwing up like you.
Yeah, I suppose. Anyways, okay, so we were thinking about doing an episode called Relationship Reminiscing or Reminiscence or Reminisce.
Well, you get the point.
Yeah. You like we're reminiscing on the relationship, and now this is starting to just turn into that. So, all right. Any other boys' trip stories, explanations you want to give to the world? Can I just ask, like, in general, okay? I'm not talking about your boys' trip specifically. Is there a motive to get girlies?
Yeah, probably.
So, like, if a girl's boyfriend comes up to her and is like, the boys and I want to go on a trip, like, should she be concerned?
No, you should trust your boyfriend. If you're worried about your boyfriend doing something weird, that's a consequence of him, not the boys' trip. Because at least in my circle and what I've experienced with other guys, no one would ever like encourage their friend to cheat on their girlfriend or anything. In fact, they'd like actively push against it if they like saw like something happening.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Continue.
So like our day-to-day activity was pretty normal. I feel like it's like what you'd expect. Like the first day I was there, we woke up, we got some lunch, and then we went to just play 18 holes of golf. It was a pretty good time. Then like the other days, we just kind of hung out. We get some food. We go to the beach, just kick it. It was just like, it was pretty chill during the days. It was a good time. We'd come back, hit the pool for a little bit. It was more like casual, like what I think you'd expect from like a boys trip.
Well, this is like for the people who don't know what happens on a boys trip. So
It's just guys being dudes, you know?
I think the better explanation, guys being dudes and being in love with each other.
That's part of guys being dudes for sure. Let me go off on a little side thing. I think it's beautiful that men can tell each other that they love each other.
Okay.
We're getting past the days of like very toxic masculinity. Like, you, bro, what the hell? Like, I tell my friends I love them all the time. And it's just like normal. Like, if I'm like calling, we'll tell each other we love each other as we go away. You know, just like love you too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I do that with my friends.
Yeah. I think it's beautiful that we've reached a point, or at least getting to that point as a male society, that we can express our love for our friends and not feel weird about it.
That is quite beautiful, I suppose. I didn't like how I said that.
It is beautiful though. It's like growth, you know.
I suppose. But are we really getting past toxic masculinity?
We're absolutely better than we were a decade ago.
I suppose.
You know, and I think it'll just keep getting better as that kind of time keeps going on.
But you still won't cuddle your friends. Hank, did you learn nothing from that platonic cuddling speech I gave you?
I did. But it's like, here's another thing. It's just like...
It's like a hug. You know, like a little dap up, but a little more intimate and a little longer.
It's just like, I wouldn't find comfort in cuddling my friend, you know? Yeah, no, like, I feel no desire to do that, you know?
For reference, the platonic cuddling speech. When I was in my sophomore year of college, I took a public speaking class, and one of the speeches that I did was on why platonic cuddling should be normalized. And so when I was trying to get Hank to cuddle his friend, I gave him the whole speech.
Let me give another example, too, of why. So the person you were trying to get me to cuddle is not someone like...
Not someone you love.
No, I do love him, actually. I do love him. But it's like, he's not really... Like, I know he'd be like, bro, what the hell are you doing? Like, it was just like...
Okay, so there are levels to it. All right. Okay. So then does that mean, like, for boys' trips, there's levels to it too? You know?
I'm sure there are, yeah. I can only speak on my...
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think, okay, let's say a guy has a girlfriend, he goes on a boys' trip. Do you think he's getting, I don't even know what terminology to use, romantic, sexual with his friends?
Good question. I mean, that's a hard one to answer. I guess it's tough because if they did, would the girlfriend be upset? No, and it's all just like funny. There's no actual sexual intuition behind any of this, you know?
Okay, so here's the question to you. If we were still dating and you had gone on said boys' trip, would the events that occurred have still occurred?
I quite honestly would have asked you about it before, because I know damn well that those type of events would occur.
Okay, so you would have asked me how I felt about it.
I would just be like, would you be uncomfortable? Like, is it a weird thing?
Yes, it's weird.
Why?
We were just frolicking naked together.
Steve, like, I guess if you told me that story and it was happening with you, if there was no, like, sexual intuition behind anything, like, I wouldn't think it was, like...
Okay, I guess. Okay, fine.
But that's, like, again, like, I think that's just, like, depends on the person, you know? So it's, like...
I mean, you know what? This really has me thinking that, like, men and women are actually not that different. With toxic, as you say, toxic masculinity diminishing, I feel like girls tend to feel pretty comfortable, like, changing in front of each other, or, like, changing in front. I can't think of another thing right now. Yeah, but, like, I feel like generally my experiences with my friends, it's just like, oh, by the way, like, I'm just gonna be naked in front of you, like...
Exactly. Like, this is kind of like a...
Yeah, and it's not weird. Yeah, it's like it's a comfort thing.
Yeah, like, if you're... Like, this is just a friend, you know?
Yeah, okay. So maybe the moral of the story in terms of boys' trips and men in general is men and women aren't actually that different.
Yeah. Or at least there's great progress being made in closing the gap.
Okay. All right. Okay. So should the girlies be concerned if their man wants to go on a boys trip?
About what?
Just be concerned in general.
No. Ideally, your partner should be his most authentic self around you. And especially if Sophia's seen me around some of my friends before, specifically the one who I did the stuff in the pool with.
Okay, hey, I don't like how you just said did stuff in the pool with.
I had him naked on my shoulders in the pool.
Okay.
There you go. I feel like the things I told her didn't necessarily surprise you.
I mean, I went a little bit into shock, but no, it didn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, so it's like, I think you should just know, I guess I don't know, just know how your friend acts around, or know how your boyfriend acts around his friends, I guess. And he should also be still acting his authentic self when he's around both you and his friends. It should be the same type of deal.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. If your man is switching up on you, run for the hills, run super far.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's just kind of a situation where it's gonna depend. It's gonna vary person to person. I can't really give a clear answer. If you're a woman listening to this and you're concerned, be like, "Are you being gay on your boys trip?" Feel free to ask your man about that.
Why was there a necessity to say, "Are you being gay on your boys trip"?
From what, the perspective of the woman in the relationship?
No, why did you phrase it like that?
Oh, I just thought it'd be a funny way to phrase it. Yeah.
Okay. I hope that we're not offending anyone. That's not the motive here.
Not at all.
Hank is just man.
Right.
He's a man. And yeah. And literally once we broke up, it really hit oh, Hank is a man. In his full form, he is man. And I have to live with that now because we're not together. We're friends and podcast hosts. So I get the real version, because when we were dating, I had the nice version, the nice tamed, cutesy little version of him. And now I have man. Guys. I was in Nashville doing my internship a couple weeks ago. Was it a couple weeks? It was a week ago. Oh, well, this was 2 weeks ago. It wasn't that long ago. Anyways, point is, I was in Nashville and there was this cutesy little flower truck. It was one of those, I don't know if it was actually the car, but it was modeled after those Volkswagen truck car thingies. Do you know what I'm talking about? Camper van. Anyways, it was modeled after that and it was a flower truck. They had flowers. And there was this boyfriend, I was at brunch with my friends and there was this boyfriend just holding flowers from the flower van with his girlfriend standing next to him. It was so cute. All right. I think that's as much as we can share. Well, Hank can share on boys trips. I hope this put some people at ease, but it probably didn't because this was really chaotic and I feel very stressed after it.
It might be if a girl's thank God my boyfriend probably isn't going looking for girls on the boys trip, but he's being gay with all of his friends. I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, so it's an interesting take. Take it as you will, I guess. Maybe consult with your man and decide whether you trust him or not. And for the men out there, if you wanna give us your own explanation as to what occurs on a boys trip, you can send it into the little Q&A section on Spotify. Okay, Hank wants to hear the alternative experiences with boys trips from the guys. So please send that in, or I don't know, DM us on Instagram or email us or do whatever you feels. I don't know. Tweet at us and then, I don't know, tag us in your tweet. We'll be happy. Hank will go take a look at that. I'll make sure.
I'll respond to you if you.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. So, if you want to share, go share. And actually on that note, so guys, we want you to start sending us questions. Send us questions on dating, relationships, life in your 20s, whatever kind of questions you have that you want either of us to answer or both of us to answer, anything. If you have any questions, send them. We want to start incorporating these Q&As into our episodes so that we can kind of include our listeners and just, get their takes, include them in our episodes, and also like make content that is valuable to you guys. So yeah, please send over those questions. Again, can do that in our Q&A box in Spotify. So if you're listening to us on Spotify, you can do that there. If not, you can DM us on Instagram or email us. We'll find your questions and we'll do our best to answer them. And
if you send us a question, I'll enter you in a very special raffle.
All right. Well, this wasn't planned, but whatever. Let's all trust Hank, I guess. All right. Well, Hank has a raffle that's going on, so make sure you guys. What are they winning?
I can't share it here. It's a surprise.
Okay, that's not concerning whatsoever. Anyways, I guess there's a raffle. So if you want to, I don't even know. Anyways, okay. So yeah, please do that. We want to hear from you guys. Share your boys trip experiences, send your questions. And I think that's pretty much it from us for now. Our episode next week is going to be exciting too. We sort of, I think, briefly covered some things that we're going to talk about more in depth in next week's episode, but I'm not going to share it just yet. You just need to follow us on whatever streaming platform you're listening to us on. Hit that notification bell if there is one, and just wait for next week's episode and trust. So anyways, I think that's it from us. We will see you in our episode next week. Bye.